Good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Stuff Happening in the Shed. We've been under lockdown since March. It's now like 2 months later. And this week we should finally be allowed to see people, although only in the garden. So what am I doing? I have a strut brace here which has been removed from the Subaru. It is an STI, I nearly said a JDM strut brace. It's not. The JDM ones are made of titanium and I can't afford them. But this is one that was fitted to an STI. It had pink ends, which someone's painted black, and I'm about to paint this whole thing gold so that it adds horsepower when I put it back on the car. But what's been happening? Driftland is opening this weekend for private testing only. We're not ready, but some people are going to go and do a bit of drifting, which is great. Things might be returning to normal. Now, I was talking to Dave about maybe going, starting a private drift day and seeing who else wants to drive. The problem is, once you're there, you can't travel in the same car because Dave and I live in different houses, so we'd have to travel separately. You get a numbered pit, which means that you're not allowed in any pit lane other than your own. And because Dave lives in a different house to me, he wouldn't be allowed in my pit. Nor would he be allowed to drive with me in the car, because he's not allowed to be in the same car as me. So we're not going to be drifting this weekend. We're going to wait until things die down a little bit more. That means I've got a bit more time for painting this here strut brace. The Subaru is almost ready. Fuel surge tank is not fitted, but I do have a sweet new mug to add to my collection. Sit next to Pro 307 and Stuart's Copperberg, which he left here last time he visited vPerformance headquarters. Oh, let me show you a cool thing, by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but when you have a paint lid and you've got your brush here, the brush gets too heavy with paint, there's an elastic band that I've put across the top here, and that elastic band allows me to scrape off the excess paint. I'll show you that again. That's satisfying. So I've sanded this down. Oh, actually, before I do this, I need to give it a quick dose of the old acetone. That's why I was wiping it with this orange rag. And I'm just going to give it a bit of the old degreaser. That'll lift some of the dust off and also any grease. Oh, it smells tremendous. I probably shouldn't be sniffing that. I don't know what it is about these chemicals. I don't know what it is that's in it that makes it smell so tremendous. I'm assuming it's some sort of awful poisonous hydrocarbon. Right, what's been happening? In our last video you saw I'd spent a hilarious amount of money on a fuel surge tank, which still isn't fitted because, as it turns out, I needed to buy loads of extra the hose clamps and pipes and stuff. So I have done that now. They got delivered to Big Dave's house today. I had to spend £180 on hose fittings and stainless steel braided hose. That was on top of probably about £50 that I've already spent. I'll total it up in a few weeks' time when I do a bit of a roundup video, but like, fitting this fuel surge tank has been easily a £600 job plus. Now, one could argue, and I have argued, well, not argued, but I've discussed it with Dave, that for the same £600 we could have just bought another Subaru engine, and when the fuel surge eventually blows up the engine, just spend that £600 on another engine. We have had that discussion. I mean, that's part of the reason why we're drifting the Subaru in the first place, is because the spares are so cheap and plentiful, because people are forever crashing Subarus. So Driftland is open, but we can't go, it's not practical, so we're going to wait until lockdown gets eased a little bit more. And besides, I'm currently working, my average in the last 2 weeks has been 16 hours a day, just because work is so mad. Again, because you people won't stop buying things off Amazon. If you could please stop that, that would be great. But grateful that, have a job, not being furloughed. Just tough times ahead for the economy, so I'm gonna be grateful. So, in the last 8 weeks since we've been on lockdown, haven't really seen Dave, can't go out cycling. We're both quite into mountain biking at the moment. That seems to be a thing among drifters, when we're not drifting, we're doing extreme mountain biking. I say drifters, do I count myself as a drifter yet? That's a bit of a weird thing. I always thought drifters were this elite set of guys who had a drift car and a trailer and, would go to regular drift days and burn out tyres. we're now doing all of that. So I guess we're officially drifters. Not the best drifters, but we're out there doing it, living the dream. Someone said in the comments last week that we're out there doing this stuff so that mere mortals don't have to. Trust me, I got a mortgage to pay like everybody else. I'm also mortal. Maybe I just make worse decisions with my money. Anyway, this what's the point of this video? This video, like, I'm just painting a thing. Like, this is not rocket science. But I just thought I'd give you an update on what's happening. We are looking forward to getting out drifting again. We're just not able to. And it doesn't seem like it would be sensible until the lockdown is eased, and then at least Dave and I can get into the same car. Updates on the build. More fire extinguishers. Started looking at cages. If anyone has any wisdom to offer about roll cages, right? So for about maybe £600, I could buy a bolt-in half cage for the Subaru. If I was to get a full weld-in cage with door bars and all that, like BDC spec cage, I would be probably £2,500 to £3,000, which I can't afford. And I do like the idea of having some rollover protection for Dave and I wonder if a half cage is the way to go, or at least, a rollover hoop structure. I don't have a pipe bender. We have nowhere to put a pipe bender, and to get one that would bend the right gauge of steel, we're looking at £600 for a pipe bender for one project. And we're not going to use it again. We're not going to sell cages or anything like that. We're just a couple of dickheads banging rocks together, so we've got no business retailing cages. So there's my dilemma. If anyone has experience of getting like a weld-in half cage, like, is that even worth doing? So that's the dilemma. I respect the safety. I would like a bit of rollover protection for us. I just can't afford to spend $3,000 on a cage for a project car. And that means we have to sacrifice a bit of safety, unfortunately. We don't normally do. I mean, we've just ordered some extra fire extinguishers to put into the car, and we've got some bonnet pins as well, because we don't want the bonnet to flip up while we're drifting. So we're actually going to do some training. We'll do a training video of like what to do if your car catches fire when it's on the drift track. And we're going to practice pulling out bonnet pins, because we need to do that, because bonnet pins are a bit trickier. Now, the front end has had more than one impact anyway, so the standard bonnet release mechanism is starting to show signs of battle, and the bonnet doesn't quite shut properly anymore, and that was why I thought I'll get pins just as a security measure. And what we'll do is we'll remove the stock catch and we'll just run the pins, but we'll need to practice removing the pins because they're really sticky. They're a bit of a pain in the chuff to use. The other thing I was interested in, so because I don't really have a project, I thought I would talk to you guys a bit. I thought I would ask you, what are the sorts of videos that you would like to see us making? Someone suggested that we do a Q&A, or talk about what we do for a living, or talk about, why we're into Subarus, that sort of thing. So if you want us to do a Q&A video, we can arrange that, and we'll make arrangements for people to submit questions on Facebook and Instagram, that sort of thing. If a Q&A video is something you'd be interested in, we can do that. If you want to see, someone asked some questions about the simulator rig that I have. I rarely use it, but I do have a sim rig in my loft. It's a pretty basic rig, but I can show you guys that and talk you through a bit of sim drifting. If you want us to do drifting instructional videos, that's something we can do to explain the techniques behind what we're doing. That's something we can do. Another idea that I'd like to pull off once the lockdown is over is to resume our garage visits and, car breakdowns. We've got lots of friends now who have their own drift builds, and we can talk through what their progress is and get some of their wisdom. We actually have a few previous videos, so if you want to see some other videos of that type, you can check out. I'll put a card in the corner here for when we went to visit Stuart Cowie, and another card for when we went and visited Ewan Stark up in Dundee for his Lexus build. So if those are the sorts of videos you like, let us know. What we want to do is produce the content that you want to see. And while we're limited at the moment because we're stuck in, I'm stuck in a shed. I haven't actually been in the shed all this time. I do have a home. It's just inside, about 10 metres in that direction. But we want to produce the types of videos that you would like to see. Because this is a hobby for us. We're never going to make millions of dollars off YouTube. Neither of us particularly want to make a business out of performance car products or anything like that. You know, too many people we've seen make a business out of their hobby and it ruins their hobby. We don't want to do that. I think once I've finished with this initial layer of gold here, I will hit it with some spray paint gold to give it a consistent finish. Maybe should have gone with the spray paint gold to begin with, but never mind. Oh, and now I've got paint on my toes because I'm painting barefoot. What a jackass. So anyway, I won't keep you. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update about what was going on and some things we're thinking about. I'm going to see Big Dave this weekend. Now that we're allowed to meet in gardens, I can go and I can see him in the garden. I can drop off the surge tank. He's done so much work in the last few weeks while we've been on lockdown. He's put loads of mods onto the car. I did ask him, you know, are you going to run out of things to do yet? And his response were, well, as long as you keep buying parts, I won't run out of projects to do. Oh, I nearly dipped my paintbrush in my whiskey there. I'm going to move that out of the way, that'd be a bad idea. So I'm very fortunate to have a Dave. I'm very fortunate to have a career which allows me to spend money on drift parts, and I'm very fortunate to have a track like Driftland so nearby. You know, it's just an hour away. But anyway, I just want to do a video just to check in, let you guys know what we're thinking of doing next. Let you know that lockdown will be over soon and we can get back to making drifting videos. And I hope you're all doing well. Like, we're in some strange times. I hope everyone's able to make good decisions and look after their families and so on. And hey, if shit gets real, we can always do Bitcoin trading videos for you, and that'll allow you to put food on the table. Seriously though, that's paid for half the Subaru. Certainly not paying for drifting on my normal salary. I'll say goodbye, look after yourselves. I'm going to finish painting up this gold thing, adding horsepower to it as we speak. Make good decisions, and we hope to see some of you soon, trackside, once we get past this lockdown. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you soon.